life usually isn't about extravagance. I mean, it's fun to have some opulent moments and everything, but most of the finest parts of life are in the margins. It's the subtext of the life. It's the little small morsels along the way.
If you're not conscious about your investment strategy, you won't end up where you want to be, not financially or as a human. On this show, we interview highly successful investors and share how they overcame limitations to become unstoppable forces of success. If you're ready to learn what it is to be a conscious investor so you can end up where you want, keep listening.
Hey, conscious investor, how about we just stop living the checkbox life? Maybe you find yourself doing that. Your day is just Groundhog Day. You're just going through the same motions every single day. Check, 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 check. Done, sleep, wake up, check, 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 check. Let's put an end to the checkbox life because I'm done with it. And I think you are too, because you're a conscious investor. Sometimes we have to re-engage and reactivate our thinking around something because we can slip into these old habits so easily. It's so subtle and we don't even realize it. So hang with me because today we're going to dive into how we can stop living that checklist life. Very complimentary to stop lying to ourselves and stop living that cafeteria level life. I think that this is going to empower you. So before we dive in, I wanted to let you know Conscious Investor Growth Day is going to be taking place at the beginning of March 7th through 10th in the beautiful Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. If you need a reason to just go to one of the most beautiful resorts in North Idaho, this is it. It's going to be amazing. Our speaker lineup is phenomenal. We've got 3 days and a boat cruise and all sorts of great opportunities for you to connect on a deeper level. And the Conscious Investor Growth Day is unlike any other event because remember, Conscious Investor, we're striving for personal freedom. And yes, financial freedom falls under that umbrella of personal freedom, but it's not the end all be all. And that's why every day we are focusing on health, mindset, wealth, the three tenets, the three pillars of being a conscious investor. Because after all, if we don't have our health, we've all been sick before. And when we're sick, life doesn't really go on and it doesn't flow very easily. Maybe we have our health, but we have a really trashy mindset. We're telling ourselves lies and we're telling ourselves stories that are not productive for us. So if we have our health and maybe we have money, but we have a trashy mindset, it's not going to work out well. We are not going to have that satisfaction and fulfillment. If we have wealth, but we don't have our health or our mindset, wow, things are not going to go well. That's when money gets misused. We want to use money for powerful good. So come join me and my friends who are speaking at Conscious Investor Growth Day 2024, March 7th through 10th at the beautiful Coeur d'Alene Resorts. It is definitely worth your time to travel out this direction because you're going to meet amazing people, and the room block is providing some crazy awesome discounts on rooms at this gorgeous resort. So come join us. Don't be a stranger. And guess what? Bring a friend. Please bring a friend. All right, conscious investor, let's talk about this whole checkbox life. High performers have a tendency to, love productivity, to love just scratching that item off or checking that box and yeah, done. And it feels satisfying. It feels satisfying to be like, yeah, nailed my morning routine. Got it. It feels satisfying to have all the right nutrients. Because, right, we don't talk about diet anymore. We talk about our nutrition. All these words, they just change over time, right? But it's like, oh, check, 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 macros, all done. I've got this. I did my intermittent fasting. Yeah, I went my 16 hours. Check the box. I can, now eat for the next, 8 hours or whatever. We can check the box that our finances are in order. Check, check, check. We're good. Check the box at work. We checked the box that we had date night with our spouse, that we snuggled on the couch for 10 minutes with our kids, that we drove everybody around to the extracurriculars. Check, check, check. So why does it feel so empty? Why does it just feel, why do people feel so depleted energetically? Like life should be this self-watering system. If we're on the path that we're intended to be on, it should just naturally water itself and allow that flourishing to take place. I'm not saying that challenges don't happen. I mean, that's a no-brainer in life. Challenges are good for us. They're important for our expansion in life. But really, and this smiles. This makes me smile. This analogy I came up with. Let's see how this lands. Conscious investor, I'm always coming up with a new way of trying to express things, not because I'm trying to be new and trendy and cool or creative, but things just land in my brain in a particular way. And I was thinking about the checklist life being akin to fast food, right? So fast food, it's convenient. And it definitely provides that temporary satisfaction, just like checking that box on our list of to-dos and the list of all the ways we want to show up in the world. But in the long run, it will cost you everything. Maybe you recall that movie, Super Size Me, where he goes and he just eats fast food. It's a documentary on fast food. And this man, he eats fast food for I don't know, was it a year? Let me know, Conscious Investor. I think I'm actually going to watch this tonight now that I'm talking about it with my kids because it's so interesting. But he eats fast food for a year and they monitor his health and what is taking place to him internally. Sure, he's getting he's feeding himself. And I don't think that he was overindulging in the fast food. I think it was, if I recall, I don't know, maybe he did supersize everything. I don't recall. It's been years. But all this to say, to get back on track, is that when we're looking at our life, that checklist life, it can do just what fast food does. It can satisfy something, but it's only temporary. And in the end, we end up bankrupt. Let's talk about that. Well, Julie, what do you mean I could end up bankrupt? I've got really great investments. I'm not going to be bankrupt. But what about that investment with your kids? Recently, my husband, my family and I, we went to, it's called Silverwood Theme Park. Super great theme park. I can't believe we have this in North Idaho. It's like an hour and a half-ish away from where I live, right? Super well done. Fun roller coasters, clean, fun shows to watch. It's an amazing experience. And as we were there, the kids, our son was off. He's a teenager now. So he was off with one of his friends and little Miss was there. And I'd ask her, I'm like, how do you like being an only child? We're just having fun with it. And then Steve and I, we start having this conversation. And I asked him, I said, you realize we have X amount of summers left with our kids. We've got 3 summers left before our son would reasonably, potentially leave for his first venture into the world as an adult. We've got 5 summers left with our daughter. And he got quiet. And then a little bit later, you could see that his eyes were a little glossy. And he was processing this concept. And he starts talking to me as we're waiting in line for bumper cars. Remember when we went to Disneyland and we would hold their fingers? They would hold our finger as we walked around. And he starts recounting how the kids were when they were smaller. You see, when we lead these checkbox lives, we remove ourselves, we remove our full presence from all of the moments. We can be so busy just trying to check that box that we're not there. We're not, if you heard on some recent episodes, right? My kids walking in with egg fried rice or crab rangoons from scratch. It's like, I get to be present. I get to enjoy that. I can pause my work. I can press pause on everything for a couple of moments to just be fully present here, because checking that box will ultimately rob me of something far greater, something more substantial, something that is going to impact my life in some way and my kids' lives in ways I don't even understand. And it's usually in these really simple things. Life usually isn't about extravagance. I mean, it's fun to have some opulent moments and everything, but most of the finest parts of life are in the margins. It's the subtext of the life. It's the little small morsels along the way. And when we're so busy going through the motions, we're not living. What do we have then? Cradle to grave, where we're nearing the other end of things. What do we have? What did we live? What did we leave behind? Brendan Burchard, his 3 words in life are live, love, matter. Did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? Did I do things that matter? Because checking that box is so satisfying. It's no different than going through and getting that, that burger or that burrito or that whatever fast food that can be so compelling, right? Yeah, it'll satisfy you for a moment. Then you might find yourself in the washroom, right? Having to take care of business. We want to make sure that we're investing in the greater things in life, the most important things in life. We don't want to end up bankrupt. We don't want bankrupt relationships, and we don't want to be bankrupt financially. We don't want our creativity to be bankrupt. We don't want any facet of our life to be bankrupt. And that's why conscious investors, we pursue personal freedom. Because through that personal freedom, everything else falls in line. And that checklist is now a tool that doesn't own us. It doesn't boss our day around. It serves and supports us. It guides us. It acts as a rudder. I wrote this note down over here. I said, a prescribed life, a checklist life, is not a life of personal freedom. And part of personal freedom is that ability to be adaptable when opportunities arise that align with us. And this has happened to me so many times. And you've watched it. If you've been a conscious investor, you've been around for a while and you've heard transitions on the podcast itself. The more we're engaged, fully engaged in our lives, fully present, clear about where we are headed in life, then we're able to make these adaptations, some course corrections, some recalibrations into that next transition. Like I said, life usually isn't extreme. It's these little subtle things that we have to be fully present for in order to see and perceive. If we're so busy checking that box, cool, got all these tasks done. Yep, got the dog to the groomer, got the grocery shopping done. Yep, DoorDash is on its way. We're going to kick back and watch a show, whatever. Like, we could go through all these motions. We could even have that checkbox. And I've done this. I've sat with my kids on the couch and I could check the box. But did it actually matter to my kids? Did they actually feel I was present? Because I will tell you, there are times where like, Mom, will you just put your phone, and they will take my phone in an appropriate way. They will take my phone and be like, no, I want to watch this with you. So we can make these reasonable excuses that we're present, but are we really present? Checking the box that we spent time with our kids, time with our spouse, time with our friends, getting all of our TPS reports finished at work and, placing orders and such. It's going to leave us bankrupt. When we're fully present, we can adapt. We can say yes to kids walking through the door with egg fried rice. We can say yes to our spouse. It's like, hey, do you want to go grab, some lunch? We can be present. We can adapt. And in that adaptation, we lean into our greater contribution because we see things in a new way. And that affects everything else in life. Conscious investor, I am here to support you. That's what I love to do. So don't be a stranger. Reach out. Let's pop on a call. Let's talk about your goals. Let's talk about, what does personal freedom look like for you? What does financial freedom look like for you? Does it look like investing in one of our, investment projects? Does it look like coaching? How can I support you? And as always, if I can't support you, I know the most extraordinary people, and I am not shy about making connections and introductions. If I can't support you, I probably know someone who can. So, conscious investor, please don't be a stranger. And then please, this is a movement, and I can't do this alone. I genuinely need your support. You can support me for free by simply leaving a rating and review. Leave an honest one. You don't have to rate it 5 stars. If you don't feel like it's 5 stars, don't. If it's landing with you and resonating and supporting you, please do leave a rating and review, and double up, share it on social media, and pass it along to a friend via text. I would absolutely mean the world to me. Let's do this. Let's make this something much larger. Let's get this global so that everyone can really lean into the greater contribution of their life. Until next time, live big, love bigger, and do great things.
What's the big deal about investing in apartments? Why is it better than investing in a slew of single-family homes? I've compiled a lot of information on why investing in a multifamily, also known as apartments, will help you reach your investment goals. Head over to 3keysinvestments.com and download the Why Invest in Multifamily guide today.